Hello, everyone. So today I am talking with Talia, who is in one of my programs, and I'm so excited to be here talking with her and kind of just getting an update on what she's been working on. So, hello, Talia.
Hello, Na. Thank you for having me on your podcast today.
No worries. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a busy week, but I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm so excited to have you on here. I know we've been like kind of just going back and forth with everything. So, I guess the whole purpose of this little interview that we're doing is to give people an insight on, copywriting if they are looking to get started, whether or not it's for them. So, I would love to kind of use you as an experience as someone who's doing it, who's actually, in the field themselves. So, I have a few questions and I guess we can just get started.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Perfect. So what I want to ask you first is, how did you get into copywriting? What made you realize that this is something that you wanted to kind of pursue?
I'll be honest, I didn't know what copywriting was at first, and I didn't really consider it. I actually stumbled upon it through sort of meeting and connecting with you, and doing some research and reading online. And I did a couple other free courses, and during the holiday season into the winter, before COVID-19, and um, it just was a way for me to express myself and begin to think about what my life might look like beyond what I'd typically sort of been doing professionally for the first several years um, of my career. And between copywriting and blogging and a few other things that I've sort of picked up as I'm sort of building my own home, if you will, is a professional home. Have really enjoyed it, and in being able and can be the analyst that I am, and also creative and connect and learn from other people in my client base.
That's amazing. Oh my God. So you actually found out about it through me.
Yes. So, well, I saw another ad, I think around the time that I met you, and I had done a couple to me. You DM'd me, and randomly, and I know I didn't always respond to a lot of the DMs I get, but something told me to respond the day that I got it back. And I, enrolled in I think your lead magnet rather was a course, a PowerPoint deck and audio recordings. And so I did that, and I was reading one of the books that you recommended, and you stayed in time. I sort of just went from there.
Oh, the Wi-Fi is being kind of weird. So it's like going in and out, which I don't know why that's happening, but that's fine. Hopefully it's not too bad. Like I could still hear you, but you were still going a little in and out.
You want me to repeat what I said?
I think I got like a gist of it. You saw my DM, which I love to do. I love connecting with my community. I love, reaching out to people. So the fact that you, responded and you took that step, that makes me so happy. But, that was kind of my little journey as well, not knowing what copywriting was. I had no idea that something like that even existed. So it's kind of like a whole world on its own. So it's not something that you were looking for. You were just on Instagram and you came across my page.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been having a tough time in the last couple years, and I left working in my full-time job around last summer and taking some time off, and I'd started writing again, sort of for fun-ish. I had an op-ed in a local newspaper here in where I am in Philadelphia, and you found me through DM, and I was learning about copywriting and sort of getting the gist from connecting with you, and through some of our interactions and one or two of the free courses that you had at the time, and doing my own research, fell into it. And then from there, I've sort of expanded beyond the little copywriting I did at the beginning to getting into blogging, and I ghostwrite and do article and report creation too. So.
That is awesome. That's epic. So, what I want to hear a little bit, just share a little bit about your journey and where you kind of are right now.
Sure. So let's see, shortly after, I guess in the winter, shortly after we were connected, and I sort of paying closer attention and doing some research. I found my very first super low paying client, but I needed to get start somewhere. On LinkedIn, I had found some freelance copywriter for a nationaltoday.com or something like that, one of those sites. And it was a lot of work for like not a whole lot of money, but I was using what I was learning and reading from you and what you'd recommended, and produced a pretty good set of content. I think it was a set of 5 pieces that I written, and then it was edited, and they're being actually published throughout the year. And then I did that for about a month and decided, well, maybe I should look into some other things. And when I started I went to a networking event right before the world shut down, about a couple weeks before. And I met my longest term client. I still work for her at this event, and she's a small business owner that actually is about the whole purpose of her business is to be out and help connect people to venues, and whether it's for weddings or corporate events and so on. And so I met her at this event, and then we had lunch at a restaurant that recently closed down. And I said, do you have someone that does your blogging for you? And she said, I don't like doing it myself. I have a current student who's about to be done. Would you be interested in maybe trying it out? And I said, I'm learning. I was telling her about the work I was doing with you too, Nav. And she said, great, let's give it a shot, see what happens. And as we've sort of been riding the coronavirus wave together, and so her business has had to pivot a lot because of the change. On that, I've done guest blog posts I just did one that went up earlier this week out in California for a design firm. I've done some posts for national sites, major university, and Ivy League University here in Pennsylvania right now. And I am working with a couple of other folks. And I just also picked up doing a package of 5 articles that are political. What you said I could do early and didn't believe is to work for myself and be sustainable that way.
That is epic. That is awesome. And just the power of networking, when you actually put yourself out there, you realize that people actually need your services. Like there are people out there who are looking to work for you, but it's just about you getting yourself in front of those people. And that's exactly what you did. You went out there, you went to this networking event, which is awesome. And that's amazing. That's amazing. So if you have any kind of thoughts about kind of working with me, and if someone is, looking to join some of my courses, what advice would you give to them?
Well, first off, I would say definitely do it. That was great. I was having the day that you DM'd me, and then around that time, I was really, really upset. And so you reached out. It was like it was meant to be. And so I've learned so much from you, and through the Copy Remedy and the 6-day 6-figure course challenge I was also part of. I learned a ton about this world and also myself. And to sort of reimagine what my life would be like beyond a rubric that was sort of charted from you that I thought was normal and required. I get to make my own rules. And so I think anyone should, even if you don't if you do anything, at least sort of being able to connect with you on it through the Copy Remedy alone. It's a self sort of guided process, but the tools that I was provided in there have helped me immensely. The cold email bundle alone is amazing. It has been there. You don't hear back all the time, but it does really, the templates do help. You tweak them as to what makes sense for you, in your own niche and your personality, and you will get people to respond. It doesn't happen overnight and it doesn't happen consistently, but it does happen. And you build great relationships from there. I heard back from someone who found me on Facebook early last weekend. I heard back from her last night, and she's in the middle of like a family passing and a client passing, but I used a template because she asked me to reach out to her, and she wants to talk later next week. about possibly working together. So there are things sort of in the pipeline, plus I have other things that are in development and getting organized. People who have approached me and responded. So the emails work. You've got to do the work yourself. You don't have to have a great day every day, but you still have to keep trying. And the way that I'm working with you and how you sort of personalize the approach and use your story as part of your teachings, I think really resonates with a lot of people, especially right now, since so many things are not the same. And a lot of businesses and industries are never going to be the same because of the state of the world and where we're going in the next couple months in the recovery period. So I definitely would recommend you to anyone that is looking for something new or to try a new industry area. And your instruction practices are incredibly helpful, encouraging, and I benefited greatly from them.
Yay, I'm so glad to hear that. And one thing you said is you learned a lot about yourself, which is, yes, I'm here to kind of take you through the step-by-step process and tell you all of these things. But for me, it's a lot about the mindset that goes into it as well. So if you have any final thoughts on how you think you've kind of improved your mindset and just the person that you've become now compared to just a few months ago.
Yeah. So, my storytelling is a big part of my life. It's sort of what I'm doing. It's a whole part of my entire existence, and professionally and personally. Now, I think everyone has a story to tell at the moment. And if I could say anything to anyone whether you're having a really tough time right now, I certainly have my tough moments. Still, it is okay to start over wherever you are, as you are, because you decide where the beginning ends, and just at any point in your story, it's not linear. It doesn't have to. Life isn't supposed to be linear. That's what I've learned through all of this. And I thought the world was ending about a year ago. There's been lots of factors that contributed to a lot of confusion, but beginning where you are every single time and telling your story your way is so important. And I think I learned that about myself and working with you and through the courses and some of the guided instruction conversations that we've had over the last several months, which is sort of, and I tend to stick with things that hold my attention and continue to pique my curiosity. And I didn't realize as much as how my formal training and background in sort of being an analyst and a researcher and so on actually does inform a lot about what I write, even if it doesn't feel like it. So even though I'm not that was a different chapter of my life, it's not completely closed, but it informs who I am today. And I think anybody should feel shouldn't feel control or sort of confined to a version of themselves who they were, looking forward. And something like this can really open you up to all kinds of possibilities.
Yes, love all of that. So one last thing, what's one kind of piece of advice you would give to someone who is looking to kind of make that transition? Maybe they are, currently going to their full-time job, but they are looking to get started with copywriting. What's one advice you would tell someone who is looking to make that jump, but they haven't already?
Even a small step in this direction is a step forward. So if you're still working in your full-time job and you want to, but you're curious as to what the freelance world or starting your own sort of business looks like, find something that's really you're passionate about and start researching it. So whether it's you spend a half hour in the evenings after your kids go to bed or whenever, to sort of look into something that you're passionate about and how you can pivot it into making it about a life beyond what you're currently living, you certainly can do that and take those small steps to begin to think about how you might reimagine your current reality. It's certainly possible. It doesn't have to happen in the first day or a week or a month. It takes a lot of time, and you're certainly allowed to sort of be confused and not completely sure. You also maybe feel behind, but at the same time, everyone starts somewhere. Start with where you're passionate and start researching and figuring out a way to parlay that into something that can be your dream career that makes you feel fulfilled and happy. This is a perfect time with everything happening in the world, a perfect time to be able to start over or start anew or start differently. And anyone can do it as long as you sort of follow what makes sense for you.
Yes, 100%. And like you said about the small steps, it's literally about going a step at a time instead of just thinking that you need to take on everything at once. If you really just do it step by step, day by day, take it as the day comes, but also making sure you are doing something every single day to get to where you want to go. It is super possible to kill it. Well, thank you so much, Talia. This was so much fun, and I'm so looking forward to seeing all the success and everything that you are working on and what's to come. If you want, you can share your Instagram on here if you want, just a little shout out for yourself.
Sure. Well, first, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to join you on your
Yay.
podcast today. My new Instagram for my growing business is on Instagram is at storytelling with Talia. So storytelling with Talia. If you want to follow me as I continue to build content and work with Nav as I launch in the coming months, I'd love to connect with folks and maybe work with some of you. So stay
Yay.
tuned.
Well, thank you so much, Talia. Whoever is listening, I know this is going to be super helpful. And yeah, again, this was so much fun, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.